Lou Hudson's career always seemed to fly under the radar. Maybe it was because he wasn't someone to be in the spotlight, or maybe because his teams could never win at all. But his game was extremely effective for over a decade. He had the size and strength to play the 2 or the 3, plus he was one of the most underrated shooters ever, as he could pull up off the dribble, shoot off the catch, and work in the triple threat to get more scoring opportunities. He was athletic enough to crash the boards and play defense, plus he could move without the ball and get open easily. Lou was really one of the first do-it-all forwards in the league, as he averaged 20 points for 7 years straight, but for some reason, he wasn't inducted into the Hall of Fame until almost a decade after his passing. But today's video will show respect to the career of sweet Lou Hudson. Welcome to PG Hoops, and let's get down to it. Lou was born on July 11th, 1944 in Greensboro, North Carolina. In addition to basketball at Dudley High, Lou was the quarterback of the football team, a first baseman on the baseball team, and a sprinter on the track team. NFL Hall of Famer Charlie Sanders was a high school classmate of his, and he spoke highly of him, saying, "Football, basketball, baseball, track. He could do everything, and he could do everything well. He was the one guy who was instrumental in my pursuing of athletics. When I saw Lou Hudson play, that's when I made my mind up that I wanted to be like him." Lou initially wanted to play at North Carolina A&T, one of the more prominent HBCUs in the state, but the coach would tell him to take the offer he got from the University of Minnesota, as that was a chance to show his talent on a bigger stage. Lou joined Archie Clark and Don Yates as part of Minnesota's first black recruiting class in 1963. The Gophers were a solid team on both sides of the ball, as their biggest win of the season came against number 2 Michigan. They finished the season 16-7, as Lou had an immediate impact, finishing 10th in the conference in scoring, averaging 18 points and 8 rebounds with 44% shooting. Minnesota was ranked for the first time in 7 years to start the 1965 season. They won their first 6 games, climbing as high as the number 3 ranking, before falling to UCLA. After losing 3 of their next 5 games, they won 7 straight. Although they finished at 19-5, they missed the tournament as Michigan was number 1 again, led by their 2 All-Americans Cassie Russell and Bill Bunton. Lou had a much improved junior season, averaging 23 points and 10.5 rebounds on 50% shooting, making the All-Big Ten first team. The Gophers regressed in 1965, as Lou and Archie had to carry the team, but Minnesota ranked as high as 5th in the first month of the season. However, they failed to win more than 4 games in a row for the rest of the season, as they finished with a 13-10 record. Lou had actually broken his right hand, missing 7 games. In the games he did play, he shot left-handed while his right hand was in a cast. He averaged 20 points and 8 rebounds on 47% shooting, making the 2nd team All-Big Ten and 3rd team All-American. Lou was selected 4th overall by the St. Louis Hawks in the 1966 draft, and he was also drafted by the Dallas Cowboys as a wide receiver. The Hawks were a few years removed from the Bob Pettit era, as they had a lot of young players, like Bill Bridges, Lenny Wilkins, Zelmo Beatty, Paul Silas, and Joe Caldwell, as they were led by player coach Richie Guerin. Lou started at small forward, as although he went scoreless in his debut, he dropped 24 points and 5 rebounds on 9 of 11 shooting the next game. He dropped his first career double-double a week later against Philly, when he put up 24 points and 15 rebounds. He had a stretch from mid-December to mid-January where he averaged 23 points on 50% shooting. Lou put up a season-high 41 points and 14 rebounds on March 6th against Cincinnati. Atlanta played at the slowest pace in the league, as their defense was ranked 2nd, even though they gave up more points than they scored. The Hawks had 4 players average over 17 points a game, as Lou actually led the team in scoring as a rookie, ranking 17th overall in points. The Hawks finished 39-42, as Lou averaged 18.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 1 assist, finishing runner-up for Rookie of the Year to Dave Bing. The Hawks had a losing record, but they still made the playoffs, facing the Bulls in the semifinals. In his playoff debut, Lou dropped 26 points and 5 rebounds as the Hawks won Game 1. He averaged 26 points over the next 2 games as St. Louis completed the sweep. The Warriors were next in the division finals, as Lou dropped 36 in Game 1 and 24 in Game 2, but the Hawks lost both. He would struggle over the next 4 games, failing to crack 20 points and shooting 32% as the Hawks lost in 6. Lou was drafted to serve in Vietnam in 1967, so he would only play 46 games in the 2nd season. In the games he did play, he played really well, dropping 28 points and 6 rebounds on February 13th against the Royals, and 24 points and 8 rebounds on March 10th against Detroit. The Hawks fared well without him, as Lenny finished as a runner-up for MVP, while Bill and Zelmo had all-star seasons. They actually had the stingiest defense in the league this year, but their offense was still lacking, but they finished with the best record in the Western Division at 56-26. In the shortened season, Lou averaged 12.5 points, 4 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. He was available for the semifinal series against the Warriors though, as he put up solid production throughout, even dropping 26 points and 14 rebounds in the much-needed Game 5 win. Even with his 35 points and 7 rebounds in Game 6, the the Hawks lost and were eliminated. The Hawks moved to Atlanta in 1968 as they swapped point guards with the brand new Seattle Supersonics, trading Lenny for Walt Hazzard. Lou was now the #1 option, and he would establish himself as a top player in the league. In the first 25 games, he was averaging 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists on nearly 48% shooting. He dropped 39 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists on December 8th against Phoenix, along with 30 points, a career-high 17 rebounds, and 4 assists on March 9th against Cincinnati. Lou scored at least 50 times, collected 13 double-doubles, and dished at least 5 assists 16 times. He finished 14th in points and was voted to his first All-Star game, as Atlanta was still a fringe contender, finishing 48-34. Lou averaged 22 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 3 assists as the Hawks faced the Rockets in the semifinals. Lou dropped 39 points and 5 rebounds in a Game 1 win. He would score at least 24 times, including 27 points and 4 rebounds in the closeout Game 6. Atlanta faced the Lakers next, but Lou wasn't shooting too well early in the series, as the Hawks were down 2-1 heading into Game 4. He dropped 35 points and 4 rebounds, but Wilt didn't miss a shot as Atlanta was blown out at home. Lou had a nice all-around performance in Game 5 with 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists, but Elgin Baylor's triple-double helped the Lakers close out the series. The Hawks drafted Butch Beard in 1969, but Lou would take his game to the next level. He dropped 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in the season opener, then put up 41 points and 11 assists on November 1st against Baltimore. 9 days later, he dropped his career high with 57 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists against Chicago. Lou finished the season with 28 30-point games, 4 double-doubles, and 21 games with at least 5 assists. He was 5th in scoring, but the more impressive thing was his field goal percentage, which was 3rd in the league. The Hawks would make an upgrade in the front court when they traded for Walt Bellamy. They also traded Zelmo to the Warriors for a first-round pick. The Hawks had 6 players average double figures, and they were establishing themselves as a force, as their 48-34 record led the Western Division again. Lou averaged 25.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists as he made his first and only All-NBA team this year. The Hawks faced the Bulls in the semifinals, and Lou dropped 3 straight 30-point games as Atlanta went up 3-0. He came back down to earth in Game 4, as he scored 13 points on 5 of 24 shooting. He put up 23 points in the closeout Game 5, as the Lakers were up next again. Lou couldn't find the range, averaging 16 points on 29% shooting, as Atlanta was swept. The first-round pick the Hawks received in the Zelmo trade came in handy, as it was the 3rd overall pick in the 1970 draft, and they used it to select LSU star Pete Maravich. The pick was initially questioned, as there were concerns about Pete's playstyle next to Lou, as people didn't think they could mesh. But the doubters were silenced, as Pete's playmaking opened up the floor for Lou, and his scoring continued to increase. He dropped 43 points on November 1st against the Cavs, 49 points on the 18th against the Blazers, and 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists on January 26th against Philly. Lou and Pete both finished in the top 10 in scoring, but their defense was subpar, as they ended with a 36-46 record. Lou averaged 27 points, 5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists, as the Hawks still made the playoffs, facing the Knicks in the semifinals. He averaged 28 points and 9.5 rebounds in the first 2 games, which the team split. He played well over the next 3, but they were all losses, with the Knicks winning in 5. The Hawks made some changes in 1971, as Herm Gilliam and Jim Washington were the new starters. Lou continued to be consistent, averaging 27 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 4 assists in the beginning of the season. He dropped 19 30-point games, 3 40-point games, 3 double-doubles, and 31 games with at least 5 assists, finishing 11th in scoring and 10th in field goal percentage. 5 other players averaged double figures, but the Hawks didn't make any progress, finishing with the same 36-46 record. Lou averaged 24.5 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists, as Atlanta snuck into the playoffs again, facing the Celtics. He dropped 29 points in Game 1 and 41 points in Game 2, as the team split the games. He put up 22 points and 8 rebounds in Game 4, but that would be the only other win the Hawks would get, as the Celtics won the series in 6. Atlanta didn't make any big changes in 1972, but the Hudson-Maravich duo would reach their peak this year. Lou dropped 3 straight 30-point games to start the season, along with a season-high 43 points and 9 rebounds on December 10th against Kansas City. He caught fire in February, averaging 31 points and 7 rebounds on 49% shooting. Lou dropped 29 30-point games, 9 double-doubles, and 20 games with at least 5 assists. Hudson and Maravich finished 4th and 5th in scoring respectively, as they were the first pair of teammates since Jerry West and Elgin Baylor to score over 2,000 points in the season. With their new coach Cotton Fitzsimmons, the Hawks played at a much faster pace, as they led the league in free throw attempts, with their offense ranking 3rd in the league, as they improved to 46 and 36. Lou averaged a career-high 27 points, 6 rebounds, 3.5 assists, as the Hawks faced the Celtics again. Lou had the best playoff series of his career as he averaged 30 points and 8 rebounds on 46% shooting, but the Hawks missed a lot of free throws, and the Celtics won in 6. With their front court getting older, the Hawks drafted Dwight Jones in 1973, but things relatively stayed the same. Lou started the year on fire, dropping 41 points in the season opener, then 36 points and 10 rebounds in the next game. Now that steals and blocks were counted, it was clear that Lou had two-way ability. He put up 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 steals on 12 of 16 shooting on December 19th against the Knicks. Then 35 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and a career-high 8 steals a week later against Philly. Lou dropped 6 40-point games this year, along with 5 double-doubles, 13 games with at least 5 assists, and 6 games with at least 5 steals, as he made the All-Star team for the 6th straight year. Pete was having the best season of his career up to that point, and Walt was still providing decent minutes at 34 years old. But the Hawks got worse this year, as their defense was terrible, and a 35-47 record wouldn't be enough for a playoff berth. Lou averaged 25.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and 2.5 steals. Pete and the Hawks organization didn't see eye to eye, so he was traded to the New Orleans Jazz. High-scoring forward John Drew was drafted to replace him. They also drafted Mike Sojourner and Tom Henderson. Lou dropped 3 straight 20-point games to start the season, followed by 36 points and 5 rebounds against Boston. But he would be shut down after only 11 games due to injury, as now without their top scorer, Atlanta couldn't really compete, as they finished 31-51. In his short sample size, Lou averaged 22 points, 4.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and a steal. Atlanta fully embraced the rebuild in 1975, as John Drew was now the best player on the team. Lou still started, but his shot attempts went way down. He was still producing, dropping 20 20-point games, 2 30-point games, and a season-high 42 points on March 4th against Boston. He was second behind John in scoring, as he made the All-Star team in the second season, but Atlanta was nowhere near competitive, as they finished 29-53, missing the playoffs for the 3rd straight year. Lou averaged 17 points, 3.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 1.5 steals. Lou struggled with injuries in 1976, so he would only play in 58 games. Hubie Brown was hired as the new coach, but Atlanta really didn't have a direction as a franchise. He played even fewer minutes than last season, but Lou could still provide some of everything on the floor. On November 11th against Portland, he dropped 33 points, 5 assists, and 2 steals. And on January 6th against New Orleans, he dropped 30 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals. The Hawks traded Tom Henderson to the Bullets for Trunk Robinson, who will form a solid forward duo with John. But with one of the lowest scoring offenses in the league and a defense that was just average, the Hawks only won 31 games. Lou averaged 16.5 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. But 1977 would be the end of an era, as Lou was traded to the Lakers for Ollie Johnson. But Lou was a scoring wing on a team with multiple scoring wings, as Charlie Scott, Adrian Dantley, and Jamal Wilkes were on the roster. He would start at the 2, but his shot attempts went way down again, as Kareem and Adrian were the main scorers. He was still a solid rebounder and passer, and he was still providing some offense. He dropped 29 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals on March 27th against Milwaukee, and 30 points, 2 rebounds, and 5 assists on April 2nd against Kansas City. Kareem dominated as usual, while rookie Norm Nixon had a nice debut season. The Lakers weren't the greatest team, but they were still a competitive team, finishing with a 45-37 record. For his first season in LA, Lou averaged 13.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and a steal. The Lakers faced the Sonics in the first round, as Lou didn't have the best Game 1 performance, as he dropped 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists on 6 of 16 shooting in a loss. He put up 18 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals in Game 2 as the Lakers tied the series. But Game 3 was a nightmare, as he only scored 4 points on 1 of 6 shooting, and the Lakers were eliminated. LA traded for Ron Boone and drafted Michael Cooper in 1978, but Lou was in and out of the starting lineup this season, but he was playing well in his role, even dropping 22 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals on December 27th against Golden State. Lou had a nice month of January, averaging 14 points on 59% shooting, as 4 Lakers averaged over 17 points a game, and Kareem led the league in blocks. The Lakers finished 47-35, as Lou averaged 10 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. He had a limited role in the playoffs, as his best game was a 10-point performance in Game 1 of the first round against Denver. He only played 3 games in the second round against Seattle, as LA was beating him 5. Lou would retire after the season, as he was the 12th all-time leading scorer at the time. After his career, he briefly worked with the Hawks, while also starring in The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. He would move to Utah, where he went into real estate and even held a spot on the city council. In 2004, he told the New York Times, "I enjoyed playing the game. I was a loyal team person. I went out every night and played to the best of my ability because I enjoy basketball. The chips fell where they fell, and I don't have a problem with where they fell. Guys that won championships, I tell them, You won a championship, but you still weren't as good as I was. Lou would mentor Dominique Wilkins, another Hawks legend. As Dominique would say at the time, he should be a Hall of Famer, and it's amazing to me that he's not. He was one of the best guards, and that's a fact. You go back and look at his career and look at the numbers and see what he did, and you understand. Speaking of that, Lou was finally inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2022, but this was a bittersweet moment as he passed away in 2014 due to a stroke. Lou Hudson was one of the best guards in the league for a 7-year stretch, as he could shoot the lights out and also take defenders off the dribble to finish inside. He was great at moving off the ball and cutting to get open looks. Lou wasn't afraid to crash the glass, and he was a solid defender. Unfortunately, he played in an era where there were a lot better teams than the Hawks, so although he was a great playoff performer, he couldn't get over the hump. Even though he averaged over 25 points 4 times in his career, he was only named to one All-NBA team. So it begs to wonder how he was omitted from the Hall of Fame for so long, but thankfully he was finally inducted, although it was after his passing. But all in all, Lou Hudson should be remembered as one of the best guards of his time and one of the best Atlanta Hawks of all time. Man, thank you guys. I really appreciate y'all for supporting the videos, man. When I would play 2K, I used to go on the historic teams and I would see like the Hawks. And of course I knew Pistol Pete, but I'm like, this Lou Hudson guy, like he's nice. Like it seems like nobody really talks about Lou Hudson. Averaging 20 points a game for 7 years straight is hard. Like he's one of the best mid-range shooters I've ever seen. Coming off the screen, hit the midi. Off the catch, hit the midi. Take a couple dribbles, spin back midi. You're playing me too close, I'll just drive right by you and finish in the lane. Like he could do everything. But it's just like, back in that time, it was so many better teams than the Hawks. The Lakers are better than the Hawks. The Celtics were way better than the Hawks. The Warriors are better than the Hawks. Like the Hawks never really had a bench either. There really wasn't a lot of scoring off the bench. It's crazy how it took him so long to get admitted to the Hall of Fame. Because it's not like he had any scandals. It's not like he had any weird press. And it's not like he was just a role player. Like he was the main guy for like 5 years on that Atlanta team. He was the main guy. Sometimes, you know, some people just slip through the cracks, especially when you don't really win a ring. Lou Hudson was a bucket. R.I.P. to Lou. Thank you for watching the video. I really appreciate you guys. Be safe, stay on the grind. I'm out. Peace.